There we go. Pleasant good morning to everyone. And welcome to this week's edition of the Coles Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Yours truly, Coles Brown, joined by a panel already. Good afternoon, Willa Brown.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good morning, Coach Pettaway. Coach Pettaway, you're looking very spiffy there today.
Very special day today. Yep, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning and happy anniversary to you.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, Coach.
Thank you.
Charles Edmond. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, man. You cut to that. You cut to the show too quickly. I was gonna start dancing out there, just like that guy. That's some good music to come in on with the band leader there. I like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna be changing it up a little bit to add a few more pieces of music, and we'll do that. But I guess that they always say you have to always be ready.
Yeah.
That's why you should always be ready. Well, our guest menu for today: defensive back coach for Southern University, on the new staff coach Anthony Balancier panel. He played at Southern University. He was a linebacker. And so now he's back home. He also had a stay at Jackson State University. We may talk to him about that. But some things we talk about maybe it should not be shared there, Coach. But he's our guest in hour number 2. What's trending? Simply, the NCAA has new government legislations. They have now some new rules that have taken place, and we'll talk about that. And then also, if I look tired, maybe I am a little tired. I've been in Miami. I've been all over the place. The phone has not stopped. The NBA, huge trades in the NBA, and I'm going to say right now, I have done a 360. I've done a 360 on how I felt, because I've gotten some information behind the scenes. They are working. So what I'm saying is I'm more excited about the trade for the Miami Heat. Believe it or not. So that's what's trending. I'm going to go to Coach and AD Willa Brown. As I look through it, and I've got the perfect points to bring out. The Division I football subdivision committee met this week and introduced a proposal to change the FCS calendar. The proposed changes remain subject to a final oversight committee vote in August. If adopted, these things will take place January 1st, 2027. Here we go. And I'm going to try to just kind of briefly go through it, not reading it word for word. But one, out-of-season activities effective January 1st, 2027. This is a new out-of-season activity model that will replace the current spring practice and summer activities legislations and follow FCS schools to conduct 2 out-of-seasons practice periods with a total of 21. Remember that number, 21 on-field practices. The duration of 2 practice periods may not exceed 7 weeks, and neither practice period may exceed 5 weeks. Interesting. Additionally, schools must designate a minimum of 9 discretionary or voluntary weeks for student athletes when required athletically related activities are not permitted. We'll come back to that. Also, joint practice with another 4-year institution.
Yep.
That's effective. Then a modified preseason practice period effective for the 2027 season. We kind of talked about it a few seconds ago. 27 calendar days to conduct 21 practice. Now, in addition to this, you can kind of split it up. You can split it up in the spring. So you remember 21 days, you have 27 days to get 21 practices in.
Mhm.
You could do 15 at one part, then you can do 6 in that time period. You don't just have to have it all at once. Then they also talk about the notification of a transfer period. You have 15 days now. They're going to change it to a 10-day period beginning the first business day following January the 1st, which aligns with a similar recommendation made by the Football Bowl Subdivision Oversight Committee. Then they talk about off-campus recruiting, and basically it says would make a total of 16 additional staff members and the head coach. That's how they come up with the 17 to recruit off-campus and change the fall evaluation period to a contact period. So, what do you think? That first one kind of runs out at you, and Will, you said you were going to talk to some coaches to see how they feel about it.
Mm-hmm. I think for the most part, and this is just my estimation, I didn't like the fact that they took days off the back end to put them on the front end. So now, if you go all the way through the document, it's cut down on the number of camp days you can have as you're looking for that final camp, getting ready to go into the season start and that sort of thing. Those days are being reduced. And the rationale behind it is that because they're adding days on the front end, with the addition of new practices and all that sort of thing, they felt that it was okay to take some off the back end. So kids are going to be coming into camp a little later. And to me, that's prime time. All the other things are well and good, but it's not until that August 1st date or that July 31st date where you actually have all your kids there that are going to be there. You got so much fluctuation throughout the spring, that sort of thing. So many unknowns, so many kids that, kind of testing the waters to see whether or not they want to transfer and all that sort of thing, that your roster is liable to change a bit between the springtime and going into fall camp. But going into fall camp, this is what you have to work with. This is it. And let's go get it, that sort of thing. And I guess the other thing is, how many of us got 17 people to go out and recruit? Hell, we can't afford 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So that's not really helping us. We don't have staffs that are that large. And then you had somebody else call us that had a question on about subsidizing athletics. And I'm a venture out there to say that pretty much 95% of our athletic departments are being subsidized. And when I say subsidized, they mean that there's monies coming from other areas outside of athletics to make it go.
Well, there's I'm saying, I know but I was kind of looking at, say, for example, Stephen F. Austin or Sam Houston, Kennesaw State. To your point, they have, everybody has an athletic fee, but you ought to see what their athletic fee is. So that's one source from student athletic fees that the whole general population, they contribute to it. That's that's a source that's very interesting. At Southern University, when I was there, they, I know one time they raised the fee, and it was political, but at the end of the day, it changed. They approved the increase, in other words. Now, that was like 2006, 2007. So I'm not sure what it is now, but that's a source. And then you tied it in while some people always think about facility upgrades and how they're able to kind of get at the PWIs more so than at HBCUs. Well, one of the factors, it's not the only one, the student athletic fee that they assess.
Right.
Well, if you want to catch hell, you go talk about raising student fees for athletics.
Yep.
You know, you're talking about opening up a can of worms, you know, with that right there alone. You know, and I venture to say all of our schools probably more than likely have student athlete fees.
They
That
do.
part for athletics, that part goes without saying.
Mhm.
When I talk about subsidizing, I'm talking about getting monies from other areas, like student
Outside there.
fairs, like the cafeteria folk and all that sort of thing. To me, that's more of what we call subsidizing than the dollars that you're getting from student fees. You know, I know
Right.
I've been some places where we got 3-4 million from auxiliary services on a yearly basis.
Yep.
You know, so I mean, you know, that's just a part of the game, quote unquote, that's played, and in order to make these budgets whole.
All right. Hey, Will, let me ask you this. Now, one of the other things that I think that the football coaches are going to really like is the opportunity to scrimmage or play against another institution.
Yeah.
Now, just think about this. Who raised the most stink about that this past spring?
Yeah, your boy Prime did. Ain't no doubt about that. But, you know, Coach Pettaway, they don't stipulate whether a scrimmage is okay or if we're just practicing. You know, so they're going to have to fine tune that language a bit, because some people would say that, well, they're not talking about scrimmaging, they're just talking about practicing, going through drills together and all that sort of thing, as opposed to actually 11 on 11 the whole time, you know, that sort of thing.
But hold up. If I practice, go ahead, Carlos. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I forgot to mention that joint practice with another 4-year institution effective January 1st. FCS programs will be able to engage in a joint practice,
Right.
not a scrimmage.
Hold up, Carlos. In my practice, I scrimmage every day
against each other, right?
We can play with the words, Coach Pettaway.
Thank you.
But it's just a matter of time before somebody's gonna want some clarity on that thing, because the scrimmage is gonna take place.
Thank you.
I mean, there ain't no doubt about that. You know, the scrimmage is gonna take place. You know,
you pull up every one of my practice schedules. On that schedule, toward the end, you're gonna see the word scrimmage. Now, if it's just my team, we scrimmage it. But if you bring another team in there, we scrimmaging now. We gonna scrimmage. We may call it offense versus defense, but we scrimmaging. And it's gonna be so close to regular game speed and activity with the officials and everything now. So I know the football coaches got to love that, because you can really gauge your team if you're going against somebody else versus you all are constantly going against each other.
And you know, Coach Pettaway, it's a matter of expenses that go along with that. If you can get somebody to come into your place on a regular, then that's all fine, well and good. But if you have to be the one that's doing the traveling and there's no dollars coming back in return, you're going to start to get some stink behind that right there. That's an expense that normally we would not be incurring. But now, you know.
Really? It's all about relationships, buddy.
Ain't no doubt about that, Coach. Ain't no doubt about that.
Because Carlos, I'm calling my boys. I said, hold up, man.
Yeah.
I got a good squad. I don't have the money. Bring me in there. Let's go. Give us the money to travel. All we need is getting there and doggone a couple meals, and we coming. So now, Carlos, that's where the relationships come in now.
It does.
Right. For the schools of our size who can't afford to send our team off or afford to bring somebody in, Use them relationships to get what you need. Because bottom line is, we need
the
those
flip
kids.
side of that, the flip side of that, Coach Pettaway, is when you're talking about 85, 90 characters.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
You're talking about a lot different strategy-wise than 15, 16, 17 basketball players.
Right.
So we're talking about moving a mountain compared to moving a molehill.
Yeah.
Hey, but Will up, your coach, your head football coach, he gotta have relationships to the point.
Oh yeah, ain't no doubt. Ain't no doubt.
But you know what? But you know what, Panna? You don't have to do it. It's just saying this is there. If you want to do
it, you can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and but it's to your advantage though. Carlos, I think it'll be to your advantage to do it though, especially in the spring, because here, if you get somebody hurt, you got time to get them back. All right. And the other thing is, I think the biggest thing on this, you need to see where you are, man. And you need to see, in terms of your depth chart, everything. Playing against another school will help you get that team prepared quicker than going against each other every day. I promise you now. Outside competition is what you need.
It'll be interesting to see how many coaches will be interested in doing that. How many won't? It'll be interesting. Now, I know Coach Graves told me that he wasn't too keen on that. This wasn't on the show. This was off the show. So it's no wrong or right. It's just a matter. It's there if you want to do it. And it'll be interesting to see how many will take part in it. Now, Wheeler, you brought up, and I kind of know you now. I knew you was gonna bring up the costs because you're an athletic administrator.
Because it got to come from somewhere, Carlos. That's for sure.
So if you can't do it, you just can't do it.
Yeah, but I wouldn't like the fact that Coach Pettaway could go and I can't go. You see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna take an issue with that part right there. So I'm gonna have to try to find a way. If enough of the other coaches are doing so, I don't want to put my coach at a disadvantage by not doing so. Then I'm gonna have to find a way to try to get it done somehow. Beg, borrow, steal.
Well, not the last part, but but you're talking about words. Don't say steal. What's another word? Remember, we were talking about putting words to in there.
Borrow and don't return.
hey, that'll come under the category of creative financing.
There you
go. Creative financing.
There you go. Creative. So that's interesting. And then of course the transfer portal, the window coming down to 10 days. And you almost can see what we talked about a couple of weeks ago with the 5-year eligibility. You put all that in there. I think now, just my opinion, that transfer portal, you're going to have to really, really look at how you use it. You remember the old school, you bring in a class, you can identify right away who will make the 2 depth chart in football or in basketball. If not, you red shirt. I guess it puts back the emphasis on getting players in, even in the high school level, getting them in and developing them.
You can play them now, Carlos. See, in the past, you wouldn't play that freshman because he would lose a year of eligibility. Now you don't have to do it. You can put him in the fire. You just bring them along slowly, give them something. But I'm gonna tell you another rule that I think that got past us. They have now reduced the number of years that it takes for you to become eligible. And you see what 2 schools that they did it for? 2 FCS playing football schools that want to move up to Division I. They have not dropped that rule.
Sacramento State.
And one of them Dakotas, right? That burns me up because we were one of the last schools where it took 7 years for our basketball team to be eligible.
Wow.
That's a joke, man. That's a joke. That's a joke.
Well, I have a question about with this new rules that you talked about, Carlos. So, if what Wheeler talked about taking more days away on the back end, is that kind of saying that in a way, once you get to fall camp, you kind of know what your, and maybe other coaches have kind of chimed in prior to these rules being implemented. They know kind of what their roster looks like in the fall, and these are at other conferences and other situations. But for us, when we come into camp in July and get into official camp in August, we're still trying to put it together. So maybe that's why for us it may be a little bit of a concern, because you need all that development in August just to round out your roster. And now what's being said, it seems like, is that coming out of the spring, you kind of have to know what, for the most part, what your roster looks like coming out of spring camp. So going into fall, it's kind of like training camp where you kind of know what your roster is for the most part. I'm just wondering, was that the thinking?
But now, Charles, let me ask you this. Wouldn't it also, you would have to include summer now, because now everybody's going year round. So in the summer, you would really know what your roster is going to look like.
Yeah.
In June and July, you know what your roster is going to look like in August.
Probably,
because
I think that's probably added in there too.
Will be there, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I would say close to it. Yeah,
Right.
you should be close to it. But I also think these other earlier opportunities lends itself to the possibility of more kids leaving your program, because now they get a chance to see whether or not they're going to be in that top two, that sort of thing. And, there might be some handwriting on the tea leaves or something, and you might start losing a few kids, whereas might have been some kids there straddling the fence that probably wouldn't have decided until later on, whether or not they could actually be contributors to your team, that sort of thing. So, like we say, 6 one way, half a dozen the other. Something else for us to have to adapt and
But
adjust.
Willa, you don't think that with them telling you that you could only transfer once without repercussion, you don't think that that'll stop some of that?
I think it will, but we all know, unless they do something about the waiver process, Coach, all this is going to be for naught. They used to give waivers out for a broken toenail. It'd be that crazy, that sort of thing. So, unless they do something about that particular process, you could make up almost any excuse in the world and get a waiver through, that sort of, if you knew what you were doing and you had good compliance people.
Right. But I thought 5 was going to eliminate some of that too, because they did
I would think so.
In that
I
language,
would think so.
They
but,
did.
I haven't seen anything yet that says otherwise.
Yeah.
No, excuse me, but they did.
Huh?
They are some waivers in place. Well,
there are exceptions.
Yeah, there are exceptions.
Mm-hmm.
There are exceptions.
There are exceptions. But I was talking with somebody in our compliance office just the other day. This 5-year thing starting with age 19, and they said it's tight. It's going to tighten up a lot of stuff, and there's not going to be a whole lot of exceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's kind of the basic thing.
I'm sure, because it's just 5 years straight up.
Right. Yeah. Military and religious.
Uh-huh.
Those are the two that they're looking at, and they're saying that when you go case by case, there's not going to be that many waivers granted now.
Yeah, you would like to hope so.
Yeah,
you definitely would like to hope so.
Yeah, there is an age limit. I mean, someone chimed in on it, but in terms of just the waivers and just the looseness of it, I mean, just basically what I've been told is that it's going to be a lot of belt tightening on that. There's not going to be a lot of play in that as it once was before, because it does put your compliance people to work in terms of those waivers. We're seeing some being granted, but more being denied, and it could take it to the courts. That's a whole nother subject. You hope not, but I think there's going to be some belt tightening on that with some of this new legislation.
And like I said, your better compliance people, guys, they know how to twist that thing and turn that thing and word that thing to, where you can almost, I ain't gonna say assure yourself of a favorable outcome, but the likelihood of it is going to be a lot greater than if it was somebody else doing a waiver that didn't know the ins and outs and didn't know this person or that person at the NCAA office, that sort of thing. So, like we talk about coaches' relationships and things of that nature, your compliance people are in the same boat in terms of having those relationships
Yep.
with the people
Yep.
that are making those decisions, that sort of thing. And that's why you got to pay a good compliance person and pay them well, just from that factor right there alone.
Well, I'll
Be
expand that.
be
Instead of
careful.
compliance person, a compliance team.
Yes,
Yeah,
I mean the
yeah.
same thing for me,
Yeah.
but with our schools, you can almost say compliance person,
Well,
because there are a whole
but-
lot of one-person
Mhm.
shops
yeah.
amongst our schools, and we all know that lends itself to opening up a whole nother bag of worms,
Right. And
which
that's
we
why
don't have
mistakes
enough
are made.
time to get into.
Yeah, that's
well-
why mistakes are made, because you got one person trying to do 300 or 400 athletes, and it does not compute.
No.
Well, guess what? When your behind gets caught, and let me phrase it another way. When something happens and you get under investigations by the NCAA, guess what? Before it happened to Southern, you can look. Now just go look. How many people they got in compliance?
Mm-hmm.
It's not one or two.
Right.
So once you get popped, you will find a way to add that list.
I don't. In a lot of cases, Carlos, I don't think they were intentionally doing stuff. I think because of the volume of people that they're dealing with, mistakes are made. Because you got so many people that you're trying to certify, and I think mistakes are made because we have not in the past had enough people in the compliance area to get the job done properly.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And after you go through that situation, you will find enough personnel. Let me say this: the Division I football subdivision also moved to a standardized 14-week regular season format beginning in the fall 2027, and it was followed cabinet approval of a proposed advance by the FBS Oversight Committee. Under the new structure, the FBS season will begin in week 0, the weekend prior to Labor Day, and conclude the week after Thanksgiving. And programs will continue to be permitted to schedule up to 12 regular season games. So pretty much if you look at the schedule this year, I think in the conference, I think basically everybody except maybe one or two, they play in week 0.
Yeah.
So again, you'll still have choices to do this. You'll have choices to do if you want to practice with another 4-year institution. No, they said 4-year, and then a modified preseason practice. But you look at players now that went in the spring. There's some already not there in the different programs for whatever reason. Especially when you have a change in coaching. You'll come in and then you'll look and then you'll make adjustments and see if this person fits what you're trying to do.
Well, Carlos, aren't your kids back? Your kids are back yet?
Yeah.
Or they're getting ready to come back. They're back already.
No. Yeah, they're back. They're back.
Yeah, A&M's back. Yep.
Yeah. Most schools come like the last weekend or the first weekend of June. I mean, I guess not all. I guess it depends on the institution. But for Southern, they're
and I can halfway understand that. At the same time, it's an overkill thing, in my estimation, especially as it pertains to like football. These kids deserve to have, a little bit of summer, that sort of thing. I can see bringing kids in like maybe the second week of July, something like that, and then we riding it out.
You talking about
all
fall
the way
camp?
Until the wheels roll off.
You talking about fall camp, right?
I'm talking about a
Summer
lot of
school.
schools, like I said, are bringing kids back now,
Right.
Oh,
for
yeah.
both summer sessions, quote unquote,
Mhm.
working them and all that sort of thing, and rolling it right into, mandatory camp, that's going to be held later on. So you got a lot of schools where kids aren't getting that time off, that they would normally get during the summer.
Yeah, but football's pretty much year round now.
Yeah, it
And
is, and I understand that part. I understand that
Not even
part,
just
but
football. We had
Yeah.
coach.
Basketball.
We had
Period.
absolutely.
Yeah.
we had
Yeah.
coach. We had Coach Johnson and we had Coach.
well, see, at least with basketball, the kids do if they come to summer school and do the summer workouts and all that sort of thing, they'll get a chance to go home before actually coming back for school starting.
Yeah.
But with football, like your guys that are on campus right now, Carlos, they're gonna be here. They're gonna be here pretty much for the 8 weeks up until it's time for summer practice to start, and then right through camp and on through the season.
I'm sure they get a little break in between.
Yeah.
You would like to think so, but
because they're going to. I mean, they're going to school.
some
Also.
are, and some aren't.
Well,
And I'm getting this from some reliable sources also that twist and turn that thing. So, while we would like to say, or we might say on paper, everybody's here for summer school and all that sort of thing, we'd like to hope that would be the case. Yeah, but there are quite a few kids that'll be back that aren't going to summer school at all, simply because they may not need it, that sort of thing. They may already be ahead of the game, but you want those kids back
In your
getting that
program.
work in just the same.
Because I can watch them more closely when they at school, and then not every some have to go to summer school from an academic standpoint, but then some don't. I'm gonna tell you, I only went one summer session, and I enjoyed it so much. I wish I would have been able to go my whole career, academically wise, for summer school. But yeah, Coach Bunches, I was trying to remember his name. He came on and talked about the latest. It's a year-round thing now. It really is.
And see, Carlos,
come to
I
camp.
never got that opportunity. We didn't have that. And when I retired in 2011, they didn't have summer workouts in then. So I never experienced that. I would have loved to have that because to me, that's when a kid makes the biggest difference over the summer. I mean, in between seasons, and without you being able to actually teach that kid skill development, we were missing all of that. I think that was the greatest move they've ever made for basketball, to allow the summer workouts and stuff. I think now you're seeing more talented kids on the floor because of that.
But
because
Coach, by the way, you didn't have to worry about no transfer portal issues or anything like that either.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to worry about interconference transfers.
Right.
Me getting a kid ready, and I'm depending on him to come in and do some things for me. And the next thing I know, he's playing against me.
Right. And you know what? This is why I don't understand. To me, that's why it's so difficult to do preseason predictions. Because of the transfer portal, you don't know who's back, who stayed on campus because of the portal. We know about all the kids that played last year. How many of those kids are still on campus now? Because of the portal. So I think that's what makes it difficult to do preseason predictions.
Well, they have two early predictions. They have predictions for SWAC Football Media Day, which is coming up, Charles, what?
2.5 weeks, 18 days.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
18 days from today.
I don't think coaches, they hear it, but I don't think they worry. At least I wouldn't. I don't even worry about that. That's more for the fans.
Oh, yeah.
To talk about in the chat rooms. And that's kind of how we had got that discussion last time, Charles. I'm not going to bring it up again. Although I had some people was like, wow, I can't believe it.
I can't believe it either. I couldn't believe it either when I pick up my phone and my comments are on SWAC Beef and Roughing the SWAC and the Wheeler Brown podcast and all of that. Comments are all over the doggone plot. Like, where did this come from? One of my colleagues said the other day, I saw your comments on SWAC Beef. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. But hey,
they ain't ready to ride you out on the rail, are they, y'all?
Huh? No,
they ain't ready to ride you out on the rail, are they?
No.
Okay, all right.
I'm gonna use Carlos Brown's favorite word. Wow, that's exactly what they said. Wow, what a and so look, some believe that I'm on some sort of medication, and I'm gonna quote the new basketball general manager at Jackson State, Kendrick Perkins. One of his favorite phrases on ESPN, and you need to learn about Kendrick Perkins. He don't play. Kendrick Perkins says, "Keep a cool booty." That's one of his favorite phrases. So I think that was one of the comments in SWAC Beef. Keep a cool booty, folks. These are just predictions. I get it. It's okay. But I just don't come out and I don't throw shade. And I have to say that because I think there's some people who believe that I do. I do not. I do have an eyeball test and I look at stats, just things that I see. I have no hatred or dislike for any school, any coach, but it's just what we see. And maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but we have predictions. And so I'm sure we're going to get into it, but it's just what I see. And of course, there's a little purple and gold shade in there too. Yeah, of course, I've got the Braves winning the West for good reason. Jalen Tolbert, running game.
No, not again, Charles.
He's a one-man show, right?
When you're talking about football at any level, the NFL, JUCO, SWAC, MEAC, high school, what are the two things that the two people that you talk about? The coach and the quarterback. Okay, there's some teams that have a fairly new quarterback. FAMU's got their quarterback that transferred in, working them through. But Jalen Tolbert, and I think the Braves were forgotten the first half of last season for various reasons because we weren't winning. We lost to Northwestern State, a team that hadn't won a game in 3 years. People said, "Oh, the heck with Alcorn." But the last part of the season, some big wins, had a chance to beat Jackson, and you got a quarterback that's coming back. An offensive coordinator that's still there. If all that had changed, in my opinion, of Alcorn probably would have changed a little bit because it's fairly new. But Jalen Tolbert looks pretty good. Videos out there in terms of his footwork and all that. That may or may not mean anything. We'll see. But I'm just saying I think the Braves have a shot. Some big games early before the preview game. If we can get through that, I think we'll be okay.
Now, see how you worded that? A shot. They have a shot. But the last time it kind of came across that there's no doubt about it, they're going to be number one. Then, too, I looked at that winning streak. That's a fact. They had a winning streak. But my opinion was, look at the games they won against.
Yeah.
That would make me have a caution to say, wow.
Well, you had to scratch California Baptist out of the equation.
If it would have been FAMU,
don't even count that one. Don't even count that one at all.
If it would have been FAMU, Jackson State, let's say some other non-conference games were the opponent, it would carry much more weight. That's why I would say, yeah, they have a shot, but so do the other teams in the conference. They have a shot as well. Even Valley, they could get on some kind of good juice, and they competitive and they have a shot.
So Southern and Grambling beating Texas Southern at a time, and I believe on the same day that we beat Texas Southern mathematically had a shot. Grambling mathematically had a shot. Grambling was playing a little bit better. Texas Southern had kind of found some things.
That's it. Everybody.
You don't count those?
You count them because they're on the schedule. You won those. You had a winning streak, Alcorn did. But when you look at the quality of opponents, it would have more weight if they had won some of those juggernauts and out of conference games.
Yeah, I mean, it is fair. The first half of the season, we did not perform. There's no doubt about that. We let UAPB slip. We let Alabama A&M slip. We let Prairie View slip. And I think that's where people kind of forgot about Alcorn. And so I think, you can't run it back. You can't turn the clock back. You can't redo it. But I'm just looking at, I'm confident. I'm confident that we're going to build momentum from last year and take that into this year. We open up against Miles. That ain't going to be easy. We got USM. We got North Alabama. It's not going to be easy the first part of the season. There's no doubt about it. But I feel confident that offensively, with a quarterback that did well last year, that is determined and hungry to improve, and we're not going to have any issues running the football. We got 2 new running backs coming in. Our running game was pretty good last year, but we got a whole new running attack. Our top receiver transferred to North Carolina State. That's a big loss for us. So we got some work to do. There's no doubt. But I do think that we will get over that hump this season. And I do have us winning the West. I'm not backing up on that at all. I do think that we will put it together.
Hey, let me ask you this. Who do you all agree with me that Prairie View probably has the most ambitious schedule out of all SWAC schools?
Probably so.
Right.
Probably
They got the hardest schedule. First in the month of September. And guess what? I applaud them for taking that type of schedule. They don't have to. They didn't have to do it, and they could be a better team, but the record may not indicate it because of the Stephen F. Austin. They got Baylor. That is what it is, But I applaud them for that.
And I guarantee that's probably what he's banking on. He's banking on pretty much playing those guys tough, that sort of thing, them improving from week to week, even though they may, drop 2 of those 3 or all 3 of them, more likely. He's looking at the fact that maybe this is going to get me ready for the SWAC schedule. I applaud that thinking. There's no doubt about that. So because I believe that it will show and will determine how he's going to go into the SWAC season.
Because what did his comments say? If you've been following him, Coach Pettaway, he basically said, and I paraphrase, he wants to be FCS good.
Good. Not just SWAC good.
The SWAC included. Now, we'd have to ask all the other coaches if that's the way they feel. Some may say, look, I'm just winning the SWAC and getting to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Some it could be more than 2 things, being FCS better and getting to the Celebration Bowl.
Yeah. Well,
so again, I applaud him for that. And then Charles, your opinion, nobody can take your opinion away from Alcorn, but I will say that you do have the purple and gold glasses, but that's all right. Yeah. That's all right.
Well, look, in terms of Prairie View, who can doubt what Tremaine Jackson is saying or not saying? This man walked in the door with Atlanta shirt on, and we all thought 12 months ago he was crazy as hell. What is he talking about walking in the door and doing all those things?
I heard him say it. And checking into the hotel in Birmingham.
Yeah, but it's one thing to talk, but when you can walk the walk, what can you say but back up? What can you do but back up?
And I applaud all that.
But it's year 2 coming up.
Now you got to show me. You ain't a one-hit wonder.
Well, that's true.
To me, if he goes 6-6 or 6-5 or what have you. Folk done forgot all about what he did last year.
Yeah.
They done forgot all about, going to the Celebration Bowl and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
What's the matter with the team?
Yeah. But I also think, though, to me, and I follow Prairie View like everyone else, to me, and maybe G. Boom or Dr. Cavill is a little closer to PVU, it seems to me that Coach Jackson's a little bit more tempered this year. He's not saying a whole lot, and it ain't pounding the chest. To me, now I might be wrong. I'm not seeing all the comments. He's on these different panels. He's on these different panels and talking about different subjects, but I don't see the bravado, in my opinion. I might be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I don't see it outwardly like he was last year. He was very confident last year. He said it early on, made you take notice. I haven't seen that this year. Not saying he hasn't said it or had. I don't know, but it to me,
he is who he is.
He did lose a lot of kids. He did lose a lot of kids now also.
Yeah, but I've seen him. He is the same as he was when I met him in that hotel. The comments are out there. And so in year 2, can Prairie View meet those expectations? Guess what? I love compare and contrast, Coach Pettaway. Conversation we're having now. At the end of the season, let's go back and see.
Revisit.
Revisit. But you better get it now before Grambling and Southern get back up to their customary ways in terms of hovering around the top of the SWAC. So now's the time to get it if you're gonna get it.
Well,
because I think it's just a matter of time before those blue bloods start to rise.
There's some work to be done.
No doubt about that.
The prognosticators, they can have their opinion. Southern at the bottom. I saw what, and I don't know, maybe we'll have our little special coming up next week. It's in the works, what we picked. And I'm kind of looking at it like, when you play cards, they ask you spades, how many books you have? You and your partner look and see. Okay, give me 4. I'm underplaying Southern University because it's the unknown. We talked about that X factor. But I
can't count too many of them possibles, Carlos.
Yep.
No, what I'm saying is, in my predictions, you'll see when it comes out where I have them. It's not at the top. It's definitely not at the bottom.
Right.
We don't know. So if I'm playing spades, Charles, you say give me 8 books because Alcorn gonna get it done. and how does that game go? If you show you, I don't know how to play it.
You got 4, and I got 4 and a possible and 3 possible. Okay, that's how we looking at this.
That's why I'm gonna be right in. I know I can't. I'm not at an 8, but I know I'm not at the bottom of the card.
Don't count all 3 of them possibles, Coach. By the way,
you cannot count. You cannot.
But
now, when the season comes out, I've stated the first game is going to be very interesting. But now we're talking. If you're just tuning about Southern University, they playing Alabama State. Tough, right? Tough.
Yeah.
It will let you know right there. A win there, it springboards them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I looked when Coach Richardson at Northwestern State. Oh, my God, we're playing the Southland. Can we be close? Will we be close? Man, that's a tough league.
Mm-hmm.
Anderson and them, look, let me tell you something. They won going away, and that set the tone for his first game coaching. So, let me just let's see what's going to happen. You still, you don't have fall camp yet. Summer school's going to be over. You may add some. You still may subtract some people.
But we have seen throughout other sports in this conference where the unknown winds up being on top.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And so that's what makes it kind of exciting. Tremaine Jackson was an unknown. We can go up and down the line. Kevin Johnson was an unknown. You see what he has done.
Well, to the conference, he was unknown.
Yeah. To the conference, he's unknown. Marshall Falk is an unknown. Mm-hmm. You got first year coaches there. So it makes it exciting because look, I mean, when we talk about Southern Alabama State, outside the Jaguar Nation, who has Southern University to win that game? But that is just the type of game, Carlos, and I've said this for many a year. When you pick against Southern in a big road game, somehow they rise up and find a way to win that game on the road. At home, it's a whole nother conversation. And I've had Southern winning big home games, and you know what's happened. But a game like this, where it's outside the Jaguar Nation, who's picking Southern University? You got Andrew Body back. You know,
Don't matter to
determined. I mean, but they're, you know, that's the time. And Marshall Faulk, the unknown, this go-go offense. You got Trey Holly, who's healthy. That might be the type of game that Southern University might go to Birmingham and make a big statement early.
He's super healthy.
Yeah.
Compared to last time. And guess what? Pat Ryder just whispered in my ear, a 1-point victory is just as good as 20 points.
Better know it.
So if they win on a last second field goal, 17-14, I'm happy.
There you go.
If they win by 30 points, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coach Pettaway, I know you got to go. 12
Yes, sir.
o'clock, I guess, is probably waiting, but it's going to be interesting to see how these predictions compare at the end of the season, because in the long term, it's played on the field.
Yeah.
Yep.
And look, I didn't know, and I was just looking at the standings from land. Bethune-Cookman, you know, and we talk about the West, right? The East, Bethune-Cookman was 6-6 last year. Bethune-Cookman beat Florida A&M at the end of last year. That's a team that might be a.
Did that really say a whole lot, Charles?
That's a rivalry game too.
Did that really
Yeah,
say?
it's a rivalry
Did that
game.
really say a whole lot?
They're
And for
one-
me, the answer is no.
statistically, they're one of the top offensive teams in the league last year.
Did that
And so
really
if-
say a whole lot?
Now, I mean, yeah,
Defense, Bethune, defense.
yeah. I agree with you, Wheeler, but they're
I just have an issue putting these new coaches top heavy.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of keep those expectations a little bit lower, you know, for these first year coaches that are coming in the door. And that's why you probably see in my predictions, the first year guys I didn't have ranked as high as their reputations would normally be preceding it.
But
You know,
we have
that's why I
Southern.
didn't have Southern. That's why I didn't have Southern as high. You know, that's why I didn't have some other schools as high, that sort of thing. And with Texas Southern, I mean, historically, I mean, they might rise up every now and then, but historically, they've always been in that lower third.
They have.
You know, so it's hard for me to give them credit where credit may be due, simply because of body of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Coach Pettaway,
Yes, sir.
enjoy it, sir.
Yes, sir.
Definitely, Coach
49 years with this woman, 45 is my wife.
Woo!
And so I know what time it is, fellas. You all enjoy yourself. And I'll see y'all next week.
Yeah, you better go now. Oh boy, interesting. Yeah, Emmett says I think Quinn Gray deserves his optimistic ranking. Yeah. He also says Florida Class is another game.
Yeah.
You throw records out the window. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Well,
I think Quinn Gray is a really good hire. I'm looking forward to talking with him at Media Day. You know, his name was bantied about down there for a while. He brought his quarterback in from Albany State, so that system, the verbiage, all that. So we'll see. I mean, that might be another team in the East that could make a little noise.
Well, we will see. July 16th, SWAC Football Media Day is coming up. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, Coach Balancer is he's backstage. Defensive back, coach for Southern University, a standout linebacker for Southern University. We'll talk with him after the break. You're watching the Coles Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. We shall return.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a step, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You bring purpose. HBCU.
If you've ever told yourself, I want to get into real estate but don't know where to start, here's something just for you. From Friday, July 31st to Sunday, August 2nd, the Learn Real Estate Fast Masterclass is coming to McKenzie Office Park in College Park. You'll learn wholesaling, commercial investing, and how to purchase property with zero money or credit. I can tell you, education and access are everything. This masterclass is designed to give you both. Whether you're brand new or ready to level up, this is where you start making real moves. Enjoy free lunch, free study materials, and receive a certification of completion. So don't wait. Seats are filling fast. Do not sit on the sidelines while others build wealth. Take that first step toward ownership and legacy. Get your tickets now at learnrealestatefast.com or tickpick.com. For more information, call 678-859-3303. Master the market, build your legacy, secure your future today.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU Sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Coles Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Yours truly, Coles Brown, A.D. Willa Brown, Charles Edmond. Boy, that band, the number one band, according to the Celebration Bowl and their big tournament, they were number one. I agree with them. Let's bring in defensive back coach of Southern University on the new staff of Coach Falk, and he's a former linebacker at Southern University. Coach Balancier. Coach, good afternoon. Oh, yeah. We'll see if we can make the adjustment for his audio. But he's a former linebacker at Southern University. Charles, I remember he was brought to the SWAC Football Media Day.
Yeah.
He was a young player then, and he was able to, he's logging out, log back in. But he's got an interesting path from his playing days.
Yeah.
Spent some time at Jackson State, also at Colorado, and now back. And one of my first questions is going to be, how does it feel to be back in the Southern culture, in the Southern University family? So we'll wait for him to log back in, and we'll be talking with Coach Anthony Balance.
It's good to get those guys that remember those good days, and he was a really good player. I remember just calling the games, and he got it done.
Yeah, Coach, can you hear us?
Something with his mic.
We'll give him a few minutes. Technology is interesting. Let me text him.
Yeah, he's muted his mic and unmuted his mic. So
yeah, I'm going to ask, can he hear us?
Can you hear us, Coach? Yeah, he says he can hear us.
Yeah. Okay, but we can't hear him. And that will defeat the purpose if he can't hear us. Coach, log out and log back in, and we'll try it again. No, right.
Carlos, what's going to be interesting? We talk about Southern University and that offense, the go and Trey Holly, who I'll make another prediction. I think if that offense is going and if that running game is going, led by Trey Holly, that could lead to a couple of wins. If you put the ball in Trey Holly's belly, last year averaged 5 yards a carry, and he was banged up. We saw the big runs that he had last year. So that offense, get your quarterback in there. You get Trey Holly, that running game going offensively. I think you'll be fine. Defensively, though, last year was a big surprise to me, and I think to you and everybody. Defensively, that's what won the Jaguars of the division a couple of years ago. Getting off the field and all that. So, I'm anxious to see how the defense is going to look for Southern University.
Coach,
we're going to be tough. We're going to be tough. How you going?
There you go. Oh, Coach Benson, you saved me because, we were talking, but, Willa Brown's a former offensive lineman. I hadn't heard Charles mention that about Holly quarterbacks. You need that offensive line play.
Gotta have it.
Very good. And I'm just not big on putting it all on one person. But anyway, welcome to the Coach Brown Show.
Happy to be here.
Coach Balance here. My first question to you is thoughts on returning back to the Southern University family and culture.
It's a blessing to be back. Not only for myself, but also for my family. Throughout this journey, these last 7 years, I've seen a lot. Then been in a lot of great rooms to be able to soak up a lot of knowledge just to bring back to Southern University. So when Coach Falk asked me to come along with him, I thought about it for a couple of days, but at the end of the day, I knew I was ready for my own room, and and the spot ended up being at Southern University where I first started playing my college football days at. So it's a blessing.
How has anything kind of changed a little bit when you were an athlete playing there, and now your professional career in coaching, as far as the physical place, what you see? I'm just
not too much have changed. Just the same. I mean, the field house was brand new when I first got here in 2010, so we still in the same field house. Some of the same people still around here, so not that much have changed since I've been gone.
Yeah, that's interesting. Also, I'm going to go to your perspective following spring practice. We chatted briefly via text message. Going into spring, after spring now, what are some of your thoughts on the DB room?
So, well, going into spring, I'm gonna start there. Going into spring, we just had to get these guys to understand it's a way to practice, like the elite effort, finishing plays, running to the ball. So we had to really dial in on those guys to really know what's the correct way to practice. So we mastered that over the spring. So when we start fall camp, we shouldn't be behind the eight ball on that. They already should know our expectations. They should already know our energy at practice. As far as the DB room, I challenge those guys daily. Just not mentally, but also physically. I feel like being a defensive back, that's one of the hardest positions on the football field. And you just gotta have the right mentality. Like I try to tell those guys, to play this game, it's a different mentality that you gotta have being an everyday citizen. And when it's time to get on this football field, the two can't be the same once you get on this football field, right? So that's just a big thing that I continues to preach to my DBs, like the mentality, being disciplined, staying consistent, because those things are the things that's gonna win us ball games, and also those are things that's gonna help you make plays.
Now, Coach, is it an easier transition? You played linebacker in college, but now your professional career, you're coaching DBs. Did playing linebacker, did that kind of help you develop some of your philosophy with the DB room?
Actually, when I came to Southern, I was a safety.
Okay, so you
But yeah,
DB.
so DB always been in my blood. At that time, I felt like they needed to get me on the field, so I just transitioned to linebacker. So, I mean, at heart, I'm always a DB.
Okay.
So, transitioning from linebacker to DB, it's the same because as you look at where football going, your safeties ain't number linebackers now. So the more speed that you can have on the field, the better unit you're gonna have. So that's how I look at it. So it wasn't a big transition for me playing linebacker and coaching DBs because I always been a DB guy.
That's interesting. Like I said, I knew you as a linebacker, but that's interesting. I didn't know. And thanks for updating me. That when you first got there, it was a DB. How many DBs you're looking at in the room? That's part of the room going into fall camp. Is it more than when you started in the spring, or less, or more?
So we was able to add a couple more pieces after spring ball. I say right now I got 22 kids in the room. Far as like corners and safeties. Out of that 22, like 14 is gonna be able to help us right now.
Okay. That's interesting.
Hmm.
DB room. We're visiting with Coach Anthony Balancier, defensive back coach at Southern University. We often talk about this show about expectations. Um, we've also been talking about predictions. I'm not going to ask you about predictions or anything, but the expectations for you and the staff. Um, you expect to come in and be successful, correct?
Yep, yes, sir. This part of the job at Southern University. Once you get in here, everybody expect wins.
Mm-hmm. Charles, Willa, any questions for Coach Balancier? And let me say this, Coach Balancier. Charles is the voice of Alcorn State athletics, the radio, and he's a Grambling graduate. So I just want to tell you that. So watch him, Coach Balancier.
Yeah, you can't trust those guys.
Well, Coach, welcome back. First of all,
Appreciate it.
Just talk about what you saw when you left, and just looking at Southern University football over the last few years. Southern's been in 4 SWAC championship games over the last several years, and so you've been close. What do you feel like is the difference in terms of getting the Jaguars over the hump?
Discipline. So I was fortunate enough to coach at Jackson State with Coach Prime, so we actually ran into Southern in the championship, and it was all about discipline and that mentality that I was talking about. Just being over there with Coach Prime and Coach Mathis, I learned a lot. Those are my mentors. So, you know, going into the games like that, we already knew that we was gonna, dominate just because the way that we practice and our mentality on that team. So that was the biggest points that I saw on the opposite sideline when we did face Southern. Just our discipline and our mentality.
Yeah.
What did you learn from working under Coach Sanders? Because that got a lot of talk throughout this conference. When Coach Sanders came onto the scene, the press conference, do you believe, and all that other stuff, it got a lot of talk, and there's still some talk now. But what did you learn working under him that you take with you in your football journey as a coach?
Just the small things matter. I mean, the little small detailed things, those are things that help you win ball games. And just focusing and dialing in on those little things. And like I said, just being disciplined. Not just being disciplined on the football field, but being disciplined once you leave the facility. Being disciplined in class, being disciplined just in everyday life. Because that separate being great from being good, just your discipline aspect.
Well, I often say, Coach, coaches are coaches, but they're human and they have spirits just like everybody else. I'm sure it was, you had a job to do at Jack State, but I'm sure it's tough. That old heart comes out when you see it's your alma mater on the other side. And when you look at rivalries, good rivalries are you win some, then the other side wins some. Was it anything? Did you have a certain feeling of when that clock hit zero and JSU won? Did you have that thought about your alma mater?
Um, Yeah, it crossed my mind, but at the same time, I had to remember. I had to remind myself that it was a time that we beat Jackson State 10 years in a row. So I mean, right now they got it right now for right now. So at the end of the day, hey, the ball in their court, but believe me, that ball gonna come back to our way. It's gonna cross back over the Southern way. So I
Yeah,
mean, it was some great games. I went into the game just wanted to win. I ain't think about me graduating from Southern. At that time I was in competitive mode, like we compete now, so all that's out the window. But after the game, I sat back and I reflect. Yeah, it was a time that we did beat them a whole 10 years in a row. Now they
yeah.
getting us. Okay, all right, so what we gonna do to flip this thing now?
Coach, I can understand that. I would probably be in the same. I would have the same feelings if I was in the same position. As far as you work and you got a job to do, but it's against your alma mater. Coach, if I can, a question from the chat room.
Yeah.
Um, what's the impact Todd Light have on the secondary, and what's your connection to Todd Light and Marsha Falk? This is from Emmett.
All right, so my connection, I'm gonna start with Coach Falk. My connection with Coach Falk, me and him actually played for the same high school coach, Coach Wayne Reese back in New Orleans. And
All
Coach
right.
Wayne Reese actually gave me my first coaching job. So just playing for Coach Reese and coaching under Coach Reese, you already know that discipline gonna be a forefront of everything. So when Coach Falk came to Colorado and we started talking, that was our connection right there. Coach Wayne Reese.
Mhm.
Coach Light, me and Coach Light work daily together. He the defensive coordinator, I'm the DB coach. He just let me do my thing, far as the DBs. He'll tell me little nuggets here and there, but as far as like running the meetings, running the Indy, he there to help me whenever I need it. But me and Coach Light have a good, respectable work relationship.
So it wasn't a connection prior to coming to Southern University. You and him.
Now I only talked to Coach Light probably a couple times in December
Okay.
just to get his philosophy of like how he like DBs, and come to find out me and him have the same philosophy, bump and run, being aggressive on the outside, making plays on deep balls. So that's the type of background I come from. So once I figured that out, yeah, me and Coach Light, we good.
You know, that's kind of interesting because I guess you kind of assume that everybody has a connection with the whole staff, and I'll just say this, just from what I've seen, that is going to be the key, or one of the keys. The assistant coaches, it seems to be a great uh, group of guys, you know, both from a professional standpoint and a personal standpoint. Um, how is it, or what is it about the other staff, the coaches on the staff, gelling and getting things ready for the season?
I would say that everybody is very professional and everybody know that we have to win now. So everybody come to work every day with that mentality on their mind. Like this is a win now thing. We can't win 3-4 years from now. So we have to do everything that we have to do right now to win right now. If it's even standing in your office later, just watching film continuously, just talking to your kids, just breathing life into your kids, whatever it takes to make us successful, that's what every coach on this staff is willing to do.
And you know, it's interesting because Coach McNair, Fred McNair, he's on the staff. He has that SWAC hours. I'll put it that way. You have SWAC hours. Have the rest of the staff that doesn't have the SWAC hours, have they talked to you about what to expect? Some of kind of the little miscellaneous things, nuanced things.
Oh yes, sir. And if they don't ask me, I just yell it out. Hey man, we got a big old X on our back this season. Hey, so we gotta make sure that all our T's are crossed and all our I's are dotted.
Charles?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, you played for the Columbia Blue. When you talk, and it's painful for me, and I'm taking my Alcorn hat off. I'm a Grambling grad. I'm gonna take my black and gold hat off. To say Southern University at 2-10 is painful for me to say as a fan, and I say that in the most respectful way because that's just not Southern football. So you played in that uniform. I mean, how inspired are you to get that off your back and to get it back to where it needs to be? And as you say, right away, because fan bases want to see a turnaround right now.
I look at it more as a challenge. And this is a challenge I'm willing to embrace just because I played, like you said, I played in the colors. I know how I feel. I won up here. So just being around the kids every day, they ask me questions like, Coach, how y'all was back in the day? And I tell them like, hey, we worked. Like we gelled, we worked, everybody loved each other. The locker room was like our safe haven. Like just little things like that. Just be around your teammates constantly during the summer. Like you don't got nothing else to do right now. Just be around your teammates, watch football. Y'all go out there and do some drills. Just talk football while y'all together right now. Because when fall camp comes, there's gonna be a lot of distractions. So let's go ahead and build that strong camaraderie right now. And yeah, everything been going good for us. Like the summer right now, I'm happy that we got the guys here for June and July. So we going to the right direction.
Is it more about the team and the players and us, or is it and less about others as far as other teams in the conference, other personnel? Is it more about us now and what we need to achieve?
The only thing we can do is just focus on us. I mean, I'm like I told him the other day, like I'm not worried about what other schools doing. I'm just focused on Southern University right now. Because us worried about them just gonna be a distraction from us trying to take care of what we gotta take care of. So we got the schedule. We already know who we play every week. Hey, we just gonna line up and be the best version of us.
Well, Coach Bounce said it was a pleasure, kind of in my own way, trying to introduce the assistants to the Jaguar Nation and the SWAC Nation, because often they don't get the praise that they deserve. And assistant coaches are so important. Last question. Your first meal back to Louisiana, and I know you've been going back and forth. Would it be shrimp etouffee or crawfish etouffee?
Well, first of all, when I first got back down for the press conference, I went to the Blue Stove.
Oh, wait. I
but
should ask that, but normally I do ask that.
I'm more of a crawfish etouffee guy. I only like my shrimp boiled or fried. Or my wife making shrimp pasta. That's the only time I really eat the shrimp. But I prefer crawfish etouffee.
A
Mhm.
man spoken with true words, Will. I knew he was going to say crawfish, uh,
Mhm.
but you also can, for those, I know Coach Falk is from Louisiana, but some are not from the staff. Did you hook them up right?
Yeah, I got them right. Yeah, I got them right. I got them right. We in overtime in the gym right now. They didn't gain too much weight eating this good food down
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, Coach, we appreciate the time and kind of pass the word. I want to introduce the other assistant coaches again to Jaguar Nation and SWAC Nation, HBCU Nation, because once again, I pull for them. They really get things done. They are the backbone of a successful sports program. Tell them I'm gonna be looking for them. Boy,
yeah, yeah. Well,
that offensive coordinator is hard to get. I've been trying.
uh,
Coach
yeah, Coach
Merchant,
Merch. Yeah,
and
we got some of the staff out on vacation right now. Some took
right.
vacation in June, some taking them in July. So we all gonna be back together July 28th, around that time. So I let them know anything that you need from me, just let me know. I don't mind giving back to the university to, great people like y'all. So yeah, I can definitely do that for y'all.
We appreciate it. And boy, Coach Penn, that's a scary guy. I'm scared of Willard and I'm scared of Penn.
Coach Pitt not bad.
Oh, I know. I'm just being facetious. Yeah, that's a big dude, and Willard's a big guy. When I first met him, wow, those old linemen are tough, man. Wow.
Gotta be.
Hey, your O line and your D line, that's what you need to win this conference. You gotta have a dominant O line and D line.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
indeed.
And it's not just the quarterback, although that quarterback room is competitive. But then we'll see how that's gonna play out. Competition. I heard Coach Falk say.
Yeah, I mean it's continuous competition around here, even in the summer. So we evaluate everything. So when them guys running, we out there. When them guys lifting, we in the weight room. We just continuously just getting evals, because we gotta know what we working with by the time we get to the first game. So I mean, just being around here like every day, because I'm used to this, just coming from where I come from, like
Mhm.
summertime, hey, this is not vacation time until July. So,
Mhm.
I'm used to just being around the team.
Yeah. And then
Well, Coach, let me ask you this. We were talking in the previous hour, the new legislation that's coming out where you can do a scrimmage in the spring. And I know Deion Sanders wanted to do it a couple of years ago at Colorado. I think it was Syracuse. He wanted to set up some sort of thing, and the NCAA said no. Now it's allowable as long as it's a D1 institution. What do you think about that and testing your group out in the spring or having some sort of pseudo scrimmage type stuff in the spring? Are you in favor of that?
Yeah, I'm in favor of it just because the transfer portal, they done shrunk that down to 10 days now. Is in early January, so you don't have to worry about other teams trying to come in and steal your players. Because we were used to having the two portal windows, so now they eliminated that to one, and it's only 10 days now. So I mean, I feel like it's very beneficial if you can go against somebody else just to see what you need to improve on before you get to the fall.
Yeah.
Oh, Coach, I got a quick question. When do Southern report for fall camp? Do you know, or if you're not at liberty to say, I understand.
We gonna be reporting in July soon. Yeah, July.
Okay. I, I understand. Well, Coach, welcome back. Appreciate the time, and We'll talk again soon. We'll talk again soon.
I appreciate all y'all fellas, man. Whenever
Take
y'all
care,
need me, just
Coach.
reach out to me.
Take
Appreciate it,
care.
Coach.
Good
All
luck to
right.
you.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Now the questions are still coming in. Yeah.
Yeah,
Coach
go ahead.
Madison
I'm
got-
free. Yeah, I'm free. Go ahead.
Well, let's see. Man, they're coming in so fast. My goodness.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah. Ask him about the 5-for-5 playing years. As far as the NCAA legislation, they basically say the clock is running now. It's kind of a little different. Well, no, when you were a college athlete, it was different than it previously was. But now they're coming back with your clock starts right away. You have 5 years to play 5-for-5. So would that entail? Will it affect redshirting players, or does it require you now? Hey, if you're a freshman, you're good enough, you can play, or you have to play, or will you indoctrinate a freshman or put him into the first year if he's ready? If he's not, would you still redshirt?
I just think it's more to try to keep those older guys from playing football, like the 24, the 25s, guys like that. Far as it was like that when I first got in college. You had 5 years to play forward, so it's just going back to like it originally was.
Okay, that's a good point. I didn't think about the older college athletes playing Wheeler. Like somebody in the conference, a quarterback's not going to be playing his 8th year. Seriously. They're not on the schedule, Coach. Balance there, but it's a team in the conference. Well, I took a little shot at but that's just an example. But throughout college, you have older guys playing against 19 and 20-year-olds.
Right.
So that's going to be interesting. NCAA, man, you always got to adjust. You always got to adjust. Coach Balancer, appreciate you. We'll talk again soon.
All right. Appreciate y'all.
All right.
Coach.
All right. That was Coach Anthony Balancer, defensive back coach at Southern University. That was interesting.
Well, Carlos, do you know that they're going to let you go outside of that 5-year window now? It just seems like it's 5-for-5 to me from what I'm reading. That, the red shirt year and all that sort of thing, all that stuff is going out the window. You just got 5 straight up.
Yeah.
And if you don't get it in that 5, you SOL.
Well,
that's how I'm interpreting it. Now I could be wrong.
Well, no, I'm the one that put it out there that red shirt. That's me saying that because when Coach Balancer played, you could red shirt a whole class if you want to, but now according to this, you have 5 years.
You got 5 straight up. Period.
Right. So
regardless of situation. So if you're not good enough to get out there in year 1, that's still going to be a year eligibility that's gone.
Right. And then you can't, if you don't get playing time, then you can't per se transfer, or you'll have one time to transfer.
Yeah.
So that's going to be tough.
Well, that's kind of what I was, again, talking with some of our compliance folks the other day, because I have been out and, since this came in, and they pretty much said, to answer your question, Wheeler, that what they kind of mentioned in passing was like, that is correct. That is correct. And it's going to get plenty of conversation. It's going to put coaches on the clock. It's going to put a lot of people on alert as far as how these rules go.
Because certain things not going to change. Our kids are still going to need time to get developed and all that sort of thing and stuff. And, for a lot of our kids, they're not going to be ready to play in year 1. But in essence, that's a year either way that's going down the drain. You're using eligibility. So I can't say, well, I'm a redshirt Carlos Brown and, he'll still have 4 or 5 more years after that or what have you, we burning that year.
Yeah.
Now, will they come back and add some of these questions that you have about?
That's a good question.
Do it? Will they do it? We won't know yet. We don't know. That's why just gonna sound corny to some and old fashioned, but that's why you get your academics straight first, and you get that degree, because very few make it to the next level. And those who are blessed and fortunate enough to do it, you still have that to fall back on. One of those things the transfer portal did, I understand, I get it. It's win at all costs for some, win, and you have to win. But now that's going to be taken out of the equation. What do? You're going to have to develop players. You won't be able to go into the transfer portal like it is now.
Mm.
And those are just deep, hard things you have to think about.
Mm-hmm.
I think it makes the pressure to get the talent to win. It makes it even more keen. Like you can't miss. You can't miss. I mean, you have to.
We all know that's not possible.
Oh, I know. I get it, but I mean, in other words, you could miss a few back in the day. You can't miss many now.
Those who can adjust. And when I'm saying those, coaches on all sports, it's like life. It's always adjustments, man. And everything's not perfect.
Yeah.
And those who can adjust. Now,
repeat that, Carlos. Those that have time to adjust. Some of us ain't gonna have the time to adjust. We got to adjust on the fly.
I may have to make adjustments to the Carlos Brown contract. Make an amendment to it. Yes. Emma says plug and play nowadays.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that is what is before us now.
Mm-hmm.
So again, how do you navigate through that? That is a good question, and not just only football, what we're talking about. Let's do this. Let's get a quick timeout in, and then we'll come back. Some NBA playoffs is over. Some NBA talk with the trade, and I may have time to go get my Miami Heat hat. Then I may not. But that was one of the big trades, the biggest trade in the NBA, and it's kind of like it's like a big shock, and then it's aftershocks to the NBA. Now, that trade has other trades, other implications. Salary cap, first apron, second apron, tax on the dollar, all of that. How do you win? They're navigating now in the NBA. Collective bargaining is coming up again. You got to be able to maneuver, and you got to have smart people like Charles and A.D. Willa Brown who can navigate through all of this.
Not me. Not me. But look, I will say this. We just the Knicks were the 9th different NBA champion in the last 9 years. I don't think we get enough talk about, or we don't talk enough, and maybe because it's convoluted and it's complex, the financing model, the first apron, the luxury tax, the second apron, how it contracts you to be able to expand your roster and get good players. And to me, you only got a few years to do it before you're going to have to make some tough decisions. Miami just made a tough decision. Philadelphia's going to have to make a tough decision if they don't. They've changed their front office, but you got Embiid in that big contract. Milwaukee, Miami, the Lakers. What's LeBron gonna do? You just paid Austin Reeves. I mean, it's exciting in a way, but I think it also says that you got to be smart in terms of your talent, how you handle the aprons, how you handle your roster, the luxury tax. It's going to be really interesting. What are the Knicks going to do with Cat? Is Cat going to take a Jalen Brunson discount, which I don't think he should, but that has to be a decision. And James Dolan said he's not going to the second apron. So something's going to have to give. Minimum veteran contracts. Is that going to prevent the Knicks from running it back? I mean, so the NBA to me is like the NFL in terms of you're over the cap, you're going to have to shed salary, you're going to have to do something. And so I think that this is what's being talked about now, in my opinion.
It's just like a household budget.
Yeah.
If you got more going out than coming in, you got to cut some stuff.
Yeah.
And that is just simple. But I do have a graph to pull up. And, of course, I'm going to be selfish. It's about the Miami Heat. And it'll explain all of the financial part behind the playing on the court. It's two things that can be true at once. We'll take a quick break. You're watching the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Oh, maybe not. Let's see if we'll have a timeout.
Yeah,
What?
I mean,
Are you there? That's interesting.
But it is gonna, it is gonna be interesting to see as far as your Heat goes. What other piece is gonna be added with Giannis? You heard LeBron's name come up. Is LeBron ready to
really?
come back?
Oh my God!
It's Kawhi Leonard. I mean, so this whole thing of win right now, we're all in. I'm kind of pushing back on that a little bit. I mean, as a sports fan, I'm pushing back because when you're saying we're all in, that means it's got to happen right now. Okay, there
we go. Thank you. That explains it. Let's kind of see if we can go through it.
Okay.
And I follow this guy, Bobby. He's on ESPN.
Bobby Marks?
He actually has a chart of all of the teams.
Yeah.
Let's look at it. We'll put on your administrative hat. You got to the left side, the starting five. Damian Mitchell, Larson, Andrew Wiggins. Now, you have Peabody, player option, team option, and NG non-guaranteed. Then you got Guinness, and then you got Bam. All right. Reserves, okay, you see, non-guaranteed, team option, player option. Drew Smith, Jameer Young, and Myron Gardner. I like Gardner, but it's non-guaranteed. Sorry. Bobby Portis, Nikolai Jovic. Then the projected salary, $191 million. Luxury tax is $201 million. The first apron is $209, right? Now, you got free agents, Powell, Wiggins, Larson, Johnson. Oh, boy. Bonachetto. Ooh, boy, that name. Valak Golden, Jameer Young, Trevin Keels. They had the 41st draft. They picked the 41st spot in the draft, excuse me. Exemptions, you see non-tax. Mid-level, $15 million. Biannual, 5.5. First round, second round. Veteran minimum. And the trade, 5.6. So when I said earlier, I've done a 360. Well, at least before the show, I was talking to Roy about that. About what Pat Riley can do. Now, Jovic, I'm hearing that they're looking to move him. But the biggest thing is Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah.
In a player option, he's owed $30 million. Now, he can, what's the word I'm looking for? He can opt out of that contract and sign for a longer term deal with most of the money or some of the money on the back end. If not, they can trade him. And let's say if you take that $30 million and that comes off the books or they move him, then you can get two players, quality players, veterans.
LeBron James?
For the 15, no, black.
You open the door, Carlos. I mean, you open the door.
I saw that on social media. I'm glad I don't believe everything on social media. No, So you could bring in 2 good players. What is the thing they're looking for? Shooters around Guinness, who's a downhill player, and then Bam. But I like this chart. It really explains it much better than I can. But but those exceptions is what you're talking about. Non-tax, mid-level, $50 million, biannual, 5.5, first round, second round, veteran minimum, and a trade. They got a trade. Yeah. And the thing with Wiggins, they have the birds right. And then bird rights mean you can sign him for over, if I'm not mistaken, the contract. You can sign him for more, and it won't count against the tax, the luxury tax.
Well, that's why you got to have knowledgeable basketball people in those front office positions. Not just bean counters, that sort of thing. Because from an ownership point of view, you're going to depend heavily on those guys in terms of them guiding you in terms of where I need to put this money. So I'm giving Pat and them a dollar amount and saying pretty much, look, this is it. Slice it, dice it, do what you want to do with it, and I'm gonna hold you accountable. There's no doubt about that. But this is it from a financial point of view. What we gonna do?
And Pat has to answer to the owner.
Yeah.
That owner could be one person, it could be several. Yeah. Also, you're seeing, and Charles mentioned it, Boston and OKC. They're at that. They don't want to go to that second apron. So that's why they're shedding those contracts. And eventually, in my opinion, if not all, the majority of the teams are going to get to that point at some time. So that's why Jaylen Brown, he's going. OKC got one of their good young players that comes off the bench, a 3-point shooter. He's going to Detroit. Detroit is looking for shooters. So, Emmett says somehow OKC Sam Preston's got the cap figured out. And you remember I was saying a couple of weeks ago, that's what Miami should use that model. But Willa, you said Pat Riley wants to win now.
Yeah.
And that's it. You're absolutely right.
But also, he wants to win now. But also, according to some reports, you got a shot to do it now. But maybe the better opportunity comes next season. And this is where I was kind of saying this before you brought up the graphic. This whole, we're all in right now. That invokes, to me, in my opinion, panic, because it has to happen right now or else. And most of the time, it doesn't happen right now. The New York Knicks were in that position last year. They're all in. You got Tibbs, the coach. You come up short. You fire Tibbs. You bring in Mike Brown, change things up, and it happens. So to me, I think when you talk about all in, I think the second year is just as important as the right now. And that's what happened with New York. And I think with Miami and some other teams, you're all in right now, but does it really happen right now? And if you just go back to other
it probably
teams,
doesn't. It probably doesn't, Charles, but everything has a shelf life.
Correct.
So there's an expiration date on everything.
Right.
So, and I'm sure Pat Riley's feeling that, that expiration date for him is fast approaching.
Yeah.
And he needs to do some things right now.
Well, Roy, if you can come in, he's the other big time Miami person I know besides myself. And we were talking, it's a 3-year, you know what? Basically, to your point, Charles, it's maybe you can win now, but let's see what Roy says. I think Miami, and kind of reading different articles and stuff, and listen to the prognosticators, they're looking at not just a 1-year window, they're looking at like a 3-year window. If they get a championship within 3 years, that suffices for me.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry about my camera's off. Sorry about that delay. They're saying, I actually put the post up about saying it was a 4-year window that they were looking at. And the thing is because at this point, of course, we know they can't really do much else besides straight up trades and things that'll do something. And the key, you said it, the key piece is actually Andrew Wiggins.
Yep.
Andrew Wiggins has to opt out and take money longer, or take lower money over a longer period of time. As much as they like Norman Powell, as much as they believe and he feels that he's heat culture, the brothers offered $20 million. He's expected to get about $20 million this year, and he can, somebody's going to give it to him. He's coming off his All-Star year. And I hate to say this, but I think a lot of teams in the league are going to look at him and be like, "Yeah, your All-Star year came in that Miami system. We know how a lot of players have left Miami and not been what they are or what they were in Miami, and that's a real thing for people. But the key for him is he also still has to take a pay cut. If he decides that he doesn't want to take a pay cut, he'll get his money somewhere."
But it won't be Miami.
And right, they've gotta have him make a decision about that. And if he really wants to be there as much as he put it out last year, I think Wiggins actually does. I think Wiggins wants to be in Miami. So I believe he's gonna. I think they have until it's either Monday or Tuesday.
It's Monday. Yeah.
He has until Monday to do something and make a move. I would be surprised if he doesn't do something unless somebody's tampering and talking to him outside of that, saying, "Look, when you don't opt out, we'll trade for you."
But Roy, if and he has a right to do what he wants to do, but if he doesn't, then I'm sure they're going to look to trade him.
Oh yeah, if he doesn't opt out, he's going to get traded because there's too many other opportunities. There are players out there now that the Heat can pick up, and Carlos, like you and I were talking about earlier. In my opinion, this is reminiscent of that 2006 year, and then the same thing that happened when they brought the big three together. There are going to be a lot of veterans out there, people who have made their money. They've gotten, as the young folks say, they've gotten their bag, and they want to chase that championship now. And with the organization, what we are, I mean, we always overachieve when we don't have a superstar and are still there, and so people can see themselves fitting in and filling a void that could help it. I saw one scenario, and I think I mentioned it to you, Carlos, where they actually had both Russell Westbrook and Damian Lillard coming to Miami.
Whoa.
And just when you hear stuff like that, listen, it's some great players. We need to get one premier shooter. I say, it's funny for me. I said my option would be Klay Thompson. I'd like to get Klay as the spot up shooter that we get. Now, and I also did say that we do need a veteran point guard to put in there. Someone who can come in and actually work with Davion Mitchell to help him really grow into the point guard position. Well, hey, listen, I'm just sitting back watching The Godfather right now. That's all I can do. I just, I want to see what Riley and the team have, because I'm sure he's got a contingency for the, he got a trade on deck. If Andrew be like, yeah, I think I want to get my 30 mil, which you can't argue with him. That's his player option. Listen, these guys, and I tell people all the time, they be getting mad at players. I'm like, look, I love my team to death, but you got to look out for you at some point. Well, and this is these $30 million contract offers don't come around every month. So you need to, if you can get it, unless he loves the Miami system and is like, hey, I'll take the longer thing, and he decides he wants to become a part of that. Look, they even talk about bringing Jimmy Butler back. I mean, it's a lot of stuff out there.
Oh, I don't know if my
I doubt that
brain can gather all that.
Something happened, Charles. Can anybody else? Charles, we can't hear you.
Okay.
No, I hear him.
Yeah.
Say something.
I doubt if
Carlos?
Jimmy Butler said the other day that he's happy at Golden State. He
Wheeler,
loves
can
it.
you say something?
Say that again.
Okay, why? Hold on.
It must be on your end, Roy.
Yeah. I don't see Jimmy Butler coming back to Miami. That I think that relationship is gone. I don't see that happening. But I think what Jalen Brunson did in leaving $103 million on the table to try to run it back with his guys, and you hear front office people say, why not you guys do what Jalen Brunson did? Is Karl Anthony Towns going to do that? Is Andrew Wiggins going to do that? I think there are some players out there that have to make those decisions. Like, look at what Brunson did. Are you willing to do that with Giannis and this other group to be able to give us some flexibility? I don't think players are going to do it. I think Jalen Brunson is an outlier. He's going to make that money back in marketing, being in New York. But I don't know. I can't see other players doing what Jalen Brunson did, especially in New York with Cat and other players. I can't see it. It's just my opinion. Leaving the bag on the table with no guarantee of a championship, I don't know.
Well,
but let me. I'm sorry. I apparently had my volume down, so I could. That's why I couldn't hear anybody.
yeah, we hear you.
Charles. So a couple of things, because I kind of agree with you on that. But I think the thing is that Miami is still one of those markets. I mean, when Miami is a hot team, Miami is a place to be. You can pick up money, and that I think that has to be a big part of it, because I'm sure that was mentioned to Jalen Brunson. You know, you're in the largest media market in the world, so you can you can get that money back.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, I think that's an advantage that Miami has, especially also with the fact that Florida's a no state tax. You know,
Right.
you're getting this thing in there, so they have to do some things. And I hated to say this part because I know somebody was I had this debate with somebody else. Jalen Brunson came out of nowhere. Most people did not expect him to become what he has become.
That is true.
So, and
Nobody.
right now, nobody expected that. So now he has a chance to write a legend in the biggest media market in a sport that loves its legends.
I think he already is. I mean, that 45 or 49 point performance in the closeout, plus taking less money, and just the way I think he already has submitted that, in my opinion.
Well, that's my point. If he comes, that's why he does it, because he comes back. If they even get close again, and he performs as he has he's performed this past season, it's a wrap for him. He's always going to make that money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also think the Miami Heat too. I mean, Florida and no taxes and all that. That's great. When you look at the organization, what's happened with them lately, they haven't been the Miami Heat that we expect. And I wonder, does that cause some people for pause? And what have you done for me? Like Wheeler likes to say, what have you done lately?
Look,
and the Heat have been there, but they haven't been there.
The Heat have not been able to do it. So here go my real. This is my Homer Heat hat fan coming out, and you can't argue the fact. What other team has had the commissioner stop 3 different trades?
Well, I know Chris Paul, but that was with Miami. That theory was out there.
No, they had one with Chris Paul too that they wouldn't let him do.
But no, I know about the one I just mentioned. I know. That came to me first. But
that's right. Damian Lillard was the owner, quote unquote. I think that came from the league too.
Could have been.
I mean, they didn't want, for whatever reason, they did this. It's like the league didn't want Miami to get the second. Jimmy Butler was the only star we had for those 3 or 4 years. His last season, Bam became more of who he was going to be, but Bam didn't become more of who he was going to be until Jimmy actually left. If we would have got another star, I think he would have been able to develop that way. But they didn't want the league. It's like the league didn't want the Heat to have another guy.
Now, Roy, I said this on this show when the whole Dame Lillard name came up in Miami. I said that trade, if Dame Lillard was in South Beach, I think that could have been the difference at that time.
Oh my God, him and Jimmy on the squad. It would have been we would have been in the championship at least the next 2 to 3 years.
Some
Nobody in
people
the East could
push back
have
on
touched
that.
it.
Some people I thought Dame Lillard in Miami was perfect. For whatever reason it didn't happen, whether it's the league or whatever. I don't know, the money, I don't know, but I thought that was a huge missed opportunity there, whether the league screwed it up or however. I thought that was huge, and I think the Heat have been sideways ever since.
Yeah, and I agree with you that we've been trying to kind of find our way, or the organization's been trying to find a way around those things.
Yeah,
and that's what the issue is. So listen, that's why I said it was real funny that they were talking about the possibility of him being able to come to the team.
Yeah.
Because at this point now it is what it is with him. They're like, okay, a lot of folks feel like he's washed up, but when you get players like him, like Russell Westbrook, Klay Thompson, all these guys have something to prove in their career. Klay proving that he can win something without Steph. Damian Lillard just proving that they can win one. Getting in there because they brought him when he was in Milwaukee. They, for whatever reason, they didn't work together with him and Giannis. And then Russell Westbrook. I was telling Carlos, I've always been a Russell Westbrook fan. I think he's just gotten a bad rap. He likes to win. He wants to win.
He's a dog.
Yeah, and it's just like, but he apparently for whatever reason rubs people the wrong way. And so it's
But
funny,
he's a
folks.
dog. He wants to win.
Yeah, folks talk, but it was killing me though. Is folks talking about something Miami ain't gonna be much of nothing. I'm like, dude, just stop. I'm like, our organization takes one above average player and the rest of average players and makes them at least playoff contending to a certain extent. I'm like, if we get legitimate players, there's no holding back the organization.
Well, it will be interesting to see. I said earlier in hour number 1 and hour number 2, I've done a 360 now. I'm much more comfortable. I should have known better not to question the Godfather.
Hey, Roy, you want LeBron coming to Miami, Roy, or no?
Okay. Oh no.
You know what? I heard you saying that, and I've heard them talk about it. It's gonna be that is a funny thing to me, and I say it that way because, again, I think that's another one of those moves. If you make it, and he comes in, well, first off, he can't be complaining about his damn Oreos, so he got to get that straight. If he come back, he needs to know that coming in the door. Your Oreos gonna be wherever the hell they tell you put the Oreos at. But he could actually write a very interesting final chapter to his career if he did come back. Because if he comes back, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, dude, people can say what they want to say, and you can talk about what you want to say about LeBron James, and I don't get into the GOAT discussion because I think the different eras just have different players who are the top players in their eras, and you can't, because the eras all change. But what LeBron is doing at 40-something years old, if he came in and said, you know what? I mean, just imagine this. LeBron comes in and says, you know what? Let me be 6th or 7th coming off the bench. Not 7th or 8th, not even 6th. Let me save myself and not push as much as I do during the season. Play enough to keep him warm, keep his body right. Because he already we know he takes immaculate care of his body.
He might well not play, Roy. He might well not play.
It's the
But
mind.
no, that's not a matter of him not playing. He's going to play.
If you're going to half-ass it, don't get out
Wheeler,
there.
that's not half-assing it. What that is that's him being able to say, you know what? I've proven everything I need to prove, but I want more championships.
Let's ride off into the sunset.
I want more championships. I will take an extremely fresh LeBron in the playoffs all day long over all of the rest of that stuff. Especially if he coming in with your second unit and leading your second unit. Oh man, come on now, people. Yeah, say what you want to. And LeBron has proven that he'll do some things.
Passed him by. You can't beat Father Time. It's time to take it to the house and watch the young bucks run up and down the floor.
But he's
Give it up.
but
Give
Wheeler,
it up.
what are LeBron's
Give it up.
stats this season, LeBron? I mean, Wheeler. what are LeBron's stats? I mean, what was Kareem doing in his 40s? What was Jordan doing in his 40s? They wasn't doing them numbers. They wasn't. I mean, and Jordan, look, we all know jump man. Jordan was not still jumping out the gym at 40 nothing.
We're talking different times and different places, Roy.
But no, we talking body. You said Father Time. We talking about them bodies.
Yeah, and it got to them too.
It did. It got to them quicker. Father Time ain't gotten LeBron yet. He clipping at his heels because the Lakers have just been a bad organization. Come on, let's be real.
More than nipping. He doing more than nipping. He taking chunks out of his behind. I'm just saying.
I'm just gonna ask a brutal question. The mentality of LeBron, I don't know if he would, in his mind, be able to accept coming off the bench. And I think that's a legitimate question. Would he do it?
Yes.
I'm not so sure.
Well, he was the third option in LA this past season, and he was thrusted into that number one option because
exactly.
But wait
that's
a
right.
minute. That's
right.
But he didn't like it. I'm telling you, he didn't like it.
It doesn't matter if he likes it, Carlos. It doesn't matter if he likes it. He had become the number 3 option. They traded for Luka, who wouldn't stay. Fit. I mean, listen. You know what? I'm gonna say something real. I think that was one of the things.
Than Luka.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And that's why it's time for him to ride off into the sunset. You ain't the man you used to be, and it's okay that you're not.
Yes.
And Wheeler, though, that's our point. He doesn't have to be the number one. He comes to Miami knowing he is not number 1.
But in his mind,
In his mind, I think he knows that. I honestly do.
LeBron wants to win another championship.
Exactly.
LeBron is all about championships. Whether he's the 4th option, the 5th option, he doesn't want to go out this way. And that's why I think Cleveland, even though people talk about Cleveland.
Wait a minute. What way? What way is he going now? He's had a damn great successful career.
But what? He wants to be on that. He wants to be on that championship platform probably one more time. And right now in LA, it's not.
It's not happening in LA.
He on Mount Rushmore.
Back to my point.
He on Mount Rushmore. Ain't no higher place to be.
In my opinion, he just don't want to go out this way.
Well, guess what? He's going to have to go
another
out
bite at the apple. He wants another bite at the apple. And I think if he goes back to Cleveland, I think people are going to nudge him. Hey, man, when is the retirement tour? When is the rocking chair coming? When is the blanket coming? Because when he goes back to Cleveland, everybody's going to assume that it's time for him to go home for real. But in Miami, you got Pat Riley, who's a hardliner. You got the Heat culture. You have a shot in his mind probably to maybe have an opportunity to get back there. And so because I don't think LeBron is quite ready to go home this way.
He's not.
I think he is if he wins another championship, but he ain't ready to go out like this. That's just my opinion. I don't know him, but I think he wants to go out at the highest level possible, which is a championship. So where's the best opportunity to do that? Cleveland, LA, or Miami?
It ain't LA
at all.
Miami.
I just want to see how they build around.
I think this comment here is a big thing. And like you said, Charles, I think, what is it, 4? He wants to be on that 4. He's got 3, right?
I think he's got 4. He won 1 in LA, 2 in Miami.
2 in, yeah.
And he won 1 in Cleveland.
Okay, so he does have the 4. So that means he's tied with somebody. That means he's tied with the other guy. So he wants, like somebody said, he wants to separate himself.
He wants that pitch.
He ain't gonna catch Jordan. He ain't gonna catch Jordan. He's not gonna catch.
He ain't gonna catch Kareem. Is he?
He's not gonna even catch Robert Horry, who has the most of anybody. and then Bill Russell. Come on, like somebody said, it's time to get your flowers now. Go home.
You know what?
He ain't ready for that yet.
Y'all see this? Y'all see this quote here? This is so. I think a lot of what I'm one of the people who were saying that it could take 2 seasons. It could be next year, but it really depends on what they're able to do this year with the vets. If they're able to get a couple of these vets to come in, like I said, you get guys, because again, you're talking about guys who still have to who want to prove themselves as champions. Like I said, they got their bags. You know, Damian Lillard and Russell Westbrook, especially, they got their bags. I think either one of them on that team changes everything, because they know they got maybe 2 years left in the league, and they got to if they gonna do it, they got to do it now. So
I'm gonna have to talk to Pat. I'll take a red eye down there again.
Yeah, you just got back from Miami, didn't you, Carlos?
Yeah, I'm looking at life past Pat Riley. the long-term strategy, and again, I go back to my point, OKC has done a great job from a managing point of how to build the franchise, lose a big three, then build it back long-term in such a place. They got what that Detroit did. They got 2 more picks in the future. Look how many picks they got. And if they judge it well, they do well, they're going to be good. That's what I want to see the Heat do in some form or fashion in the long term. But I get it. Short time, they got to win now.
But Carlos, let me say this. And people use OKC as the barometer. But I think one of the things that we have to look at is something that I've heard them talking about on a lot of the different shows. There have been 8 different teams out of the East the past 8 years.
Mm-hmm. That's what Charles, to his point.
Right, Charles. So you're talking about a situation where what is it that separates the franchises? I mean, that when you have 8 different teams, that tells me that there's just parity. So that he's coming in, it's not that they necessarily doing a great job. That year was their year. That year was it. Yeah.
Oh, well, you looking at it, but I'm
because listen, hold on. Let me say this, because I think here's the other part. You've also got to look at who is the core of your team, and the thing that I think Miami has over everybody is that they can find raw, undrafted talent better than any other. Well, let me change it. They can find the talent better, and they can make that talent work in their system better than anybody else in the league. And that makes a difference, right? I mean, because they're talking about Shea is the one that's in OKC, right? Yeah, I forever get him and Ja mixed up, but so he's the young core of that one. I mean, again, Oklahoma, Milwaukee, who really wants to stay in these places? I mean, I'm sorry, y'all, but you know.
But Roy, I said this a couple weeks ago. OKC was really good because they were really bad.
Right.
They were able to accumulate picks,
draft picks over the years. Exactly.
Right. Under the old model, they were able to accumulate what they got and swap and get to where they got Shea and all of that. But now the rules have changed. You're paying Shea $80 million a year. You got to do something with J-Dub. You've already seen they got all these picks, but you could only keep the core group together for so long. Not saying they're gonna break it up, but there's got to be some tweaks, and OKC is doing that. So that's why OKC has done it the way that they've done it, because they were so bad for so many years.
Yep.
But under the model now, you're not gonna be able to accumulate it like that now. So they took advantage of the rules that were in place at the time, but now it's going to be a little bit different. And now their general manager is going to have to be a little bit more creative. You got to take care of your number one option at $70+ million a year. Is he going to do a Jalen Brunson? He's going to have to probably take some less money at some point in time to be able to pay some of these guys to keep the core together somewhere down the road. If not next year, maybe the following year.
I'm going to end it on this. Emmett says, competent general managers separates franchises.
Correct.
And OKC wasn't down that a whole lot of years. It might have been a few, because remember, they were a new franchise when they came in, right? And then they had, quote unquote, their big three. And then they lost them. But I am impressed with how they were able to build and get back. And a good management team, in spite of the different changes, they still will be able to come out on top if they are great at their craft. And
we're about to see if they're great or not, for real.
I love the Heat. That's still my team. Great management. They've done it. But I've got to give credit to OKC. They were able to get it done. And if players won't accept a cut and they move on, they have that right to do that.
Correct.
Then a good manager will be able to get across that hump. Let's give credit to OKC, Roy and Charles.
Oh, absolutely.
But you know what? Listen, I give what you call it more credit than I give OKC. I think San Antonio is really the blueprint on how you do the things that you do. I think Miami was the first team to say, you know what, let's see what they did over there in San Antonio, and let's wrap our stuff around that and move that way.
But at the same time, Roy, weren't the Spurs pretty bad to where?
No,
they were
winning 20 years. Yeah, they were 20-year perennial winner.
Prior to Wemby, remember the Spurs were not that good, and people were talking about it's time for Pop to retire and all that. But so that's my point though. They stayed true to their formula, to what they were doing. They didn't go out and try to bring in just a whole bunch of people. They didn't go the superstar route. They're like, hey, listen, we're going to take our lumps for a couple of years, but then we're coming back. They got the number one pick, and they did what they did in that situation, with him.
And that's after, what's the guy? He's a Hall of Famer. They may have been down 1 or 2 years, but it wasn't long, brother. Tim Duncan. Yeah. But again, they have a great organization.
Right.
And they were able to adjust. And so when bumps come in the road, they're able to navigate their way through. And if I'm not mistaken, I'll come back if I'm wrong, Presti, I believe, worked with San Antonio.
Yeah.
Well, so give the man his flowers now. He's done a great job.
I mean, look, you have a young general manager who took a chance and hired a coach out of the G League, and OKC's coach was in the G League. So, I mean, I think a lot of things came together. You were able to accumulate assets, talent, young GM, young coach you took a chance on, and it all came together. But now people know about OKC. And so now the challenge is to continue to build that roster, take care of your superstar, and make sure that you've got enough money in the can to be able to add to that talent, even as you might have to shed some talent, because the finance model leads to you not keeping these mega teams together for very long. 3 years.
They can do better than that if they're gifted and they get the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I thought so. Was the assistant general manager of the Spurs. Yeah. So again, that blueprint is there for other organizations if you care to do so. But they've done a great job. I'd rather be in that position than another position where I can use those assets, those picks, to navigate through what's going on in the NBA. You're going to see that at most teams in the NBA. They're going to come to that point, as I said earlier, where Boston is there now. Oklahoma City is there. But how do they navigate through that? Thumbs up to them. Roy, we got to get out of here.
It's on you, Doctor.
We appreciate it. We may have to bring this up as a topic. If you don't have championship rings, particularly in the NBA and other sports, does that make you less of a champion if you don't have rings? Is the criteria for It
Greatness.
all?
Say greatness, because by definition, in order to be a champion, you gotta have rings. But does that make you any less of a great player?
There you
No.
go. It does not. Right. We'll bring that topic up.
We are in a ring culture. We're always talking about championships, whether it's SWAC, MEAC, NBA, NFL, Super Bowls. We're in a ring championship culture, it seems like today.
On that note, let the discussion continue. Make sure you join us each and every Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time for the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. And I'll say this. I think we do an excellent job. All the shows, Roy, CEO, Dr. Cavill, we appreciate your support, and we appreciate you doing what you can to make sure that we're still here, because nobody can tell the story like we can. Peace and God bless.